Has Cassie Ventura been sending a distress signal ever since 2016? Or is this simply a project that was made in a fictional future where she got everything she wanted if nothing was in the way of her and Diddy's love? My name is Stephen Watts Jr., and you may not know it or you may know it, but the Diddy trial is currently in full force. Literally, so many things have happened, so many names have come up, so many famous people, so many things have been discovered or rediscovered or unmasked. Not, I believe, to anyone's chagrin that things are not as they seem in Hollywood, but that things could get so bad that you could have narratives that twist and turn around each other and really don't have you believing that one side is good or one side is bad, or that Diddy committed this or Diddy committed that. His defense has stated, we're well aware that he has committed acts that are unbecoming of the kind of status and the kind of symbol that he wanted to people he wanted to present himself. I mean, shoot, he wanted his name to be Love. Like, that's one of his names.
You can call me Love.
Call me Love.
In recent times, since I'd say even up until that settlement with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs, we have known that there is a darker side. There's always been rumors of a potential conspiracy from Tupac and Biggie's time that Diddy had a direct hand in, allegedly, but we just don't know. However, similar to his defense, and unfortunately at the peril of the defense or of the peril of the federal government that is trialing Diddy at this time, he's hurt so many people in his wake. However, we don't know if he is deserving of a RICO charge. We don't know if that's if that is I'm not for Diddy. I'm not against Diddy. I'm for the truth. I'm for a panel of your peers, which is not perfect, but whatever they determine in the court of law, that's what I'm going to go off. That's what the general population is going to go off of and ultimately determine his future. But for a minute, let's brush all that aside and let's get really, really deep into his past. And by his past, I mean Cassie Ventura. So I've been a longtime fan of Cassie Ventura, as well as other cast members that kind of made their way in and out of, I guess you would say, black entertainment television or black television, black movies. There's a subgenre of movies like your Medea movies, your pretty much anything with like Michael Ealy in it, pretty much anything with Morris Chestnut in it. I feel like black filmmakers make really compelling films or really interesting premises because I believe that they have the style and culture and ability to kind of make somewhat cringier movies that like white people would make, but they can make them and it not be that way. Sorry, I gotta wait for the Hellcat. Speaking of black movies, like the one I'm going to be talking about today, The Perfect Match. Kind of have this ability to weave a story that's also kind of connected to the people. For an example, Think Like a Man and Think Like a Man 2 is almost kind of a reflection of Kevin Hart. You know, Kevin Hart's kind of a star. Kevin Hart kind of plays Kevin Hart in every movie, kind of because there's a reflection of him in the film, even though he's not directing or he might not be executively producing the film. There's a part of him that kind of reflects or refracts into the movie. So for example, I don't know if the timeline actually matches up, but similar to Kevin Hart, Cedric in the movie Think Like a Man goes down a similar path as Kevin Hart's character. He also has a very public, very taxing divorce, right? It's marked by cheating and infidelity, and maybe it's coming from the other side as opposed to in real life where it was coming from Kevin Hart's side. But there's similarities you could draw, and of course, like we all experience kind of the same few things in life: love, loss, pain, suffering, we all kind of experience the same thing, so it's hard to kind of make something that's not relatable if you're at least good at making art. I feel that is a little bit different when it comes to the movie I'm talking about today, and that movie is the premiere that Cassie Ventura talks about in her testimony at the Diddy trial, which is The Perfect Match, with Terrence J and Cassie Ventura starring as the counter lead or the co-star of this movie. In 2016, this movie premiered. This film came out, and honestly, I'm just gonna be honest. It's one of my favorite. It's always been one of my favorites ever since it came out. Me and my best friend, and his channel is I'm Rob Lee here on YouTube. So don't forget to go check him out. Please go check him out. And I hope he watches this video so he can see what I'm talking about. So Terrence J stars as Charlie Mack in The Perfect Match. Now, he is the perfect bachelor in this movie, all right? And I'm going to just speak first about the characters, and then I'm going to speak about the plot, and then we're going to see, well, what are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with, other than the fact that she was talking about that she premiered a movie? She talked about her, her one-hit wonder as well. What does that have to do with kind of like what's going on in the media, or what's going on with... And there's the train again. Gosh darn it. Now, why am I talking about this movie? Now, hold on. We'll get there. So, Charlie Mack is the perfect bachelor in The Perfect Match. The issue is, he's never met his perfect match. He's really just this is what I was talking about, that kind of corniness, like that a certain audience or a certain culture could kind of skirt around certain topics or certain like plot layovers that others just can't. Right? Like you could just, like if you're watching anime, there's over the top precepts, there's over the top overacting, voice acting. It's way different than just traditional animation. It's way different than like your Adventure Time is way different than your Gurren Lagann or your Attack on Titan. Super different. Partially because of the culture, I said parsley. Oh my God, I just want to go home. Partially because there's this huge cultural difference. So the reason I say that is because Charlie Mack is basically not every man's, but every young man's fiction of a wet dream. There's like all the pieces fit together for him to be a functionally healthy person. He has an amazing career. He's a rainmaker at his job at an agency, managing talent, managing YouTubers, superstars. French Montana makes an appearance, and he lands French Montana as a client to manage him and put him on tour. So everything's going really good for Charlie Mack. But his friends feel that he does not have the capacity to love or to be loved outside of when he first beds a potential mate. And then the opening scene is literally attributed to this. He sees a girl jogging on the beach side, and he brings her back to his, not his studio, it's like a really lavish home, brings her back into his like photography studio. He's like, let me shoot you. I'm an amateur photographer, which will come into play later. And he ends up, putting the moves on her, and they therefore, lay with each other as man and woman. But then she goes her separate way. And now he reconvenes with his friends following up, and as men kind of do, which again is a hyper fictionalized version of what that kind of guy relationship is. It's very authentic, but it's inauthentic in the means that this guy wouldn't be as braggadocious as he is. It would really take his friends kind of drawing out of it, I feel, with the level of maturity and intelligence that Robbie Mack seems to have. However, he's bragging about his conquests. His friends are showing immediate jealousy over him. We're going, man, we wish we could do that, man. We wish we could bang baddies all day long, tens all day, just dime pieces coming in and out the door. But the part that's real is that they know that life is not sustainable, that it doesn't invite quality, and that it is not a lasting formula for happiness. No matter how powerful you are, no matter how much money you make, he makes a great income, a sizable income, but he's not doing the things he actually cares about, the things he actually wants to be doing. Anyways, character building aside, so he goes on about his day. Now here comes his foil, I would say. Cassie Ventura steps on the scene, presenting a challenge that, hey, you know what? I've only ever been in committed relationships, and it seems like you're unable to commit to them. But I'm looking for somebody of your stature, somebody of your position and power who can basically show me a good time so that I don't have to think about the other things that are going on in my life. I don't have to think about my modeling career. I don't have to think about this thing that's going on in the background, which again we'll get to. So she steps on the scene as Charlie Mack is just kind of reveling in his debauchery, in reveling in his debauchery that he partakes in, and she kind of fits right in just like a puzzle piece. Like she instantly makes connections. Are kind of really outdated. A lot of things about this movie. It's only 2016. Only 20. That's 10 years ago, dude. It's not. Oh my god. It's not only 2016. It's like 10 freaking years ago, dude. Oh my god, dude. I'm so freaking old. I should have made this video like 6 years ago. This is gonna be an evergreen video. Just you watch. This is gonna be when he's locked up for life. They're gonna be like, man, like Stefan was really talking. He's really spitting facts about this this movie. Whatever. We move on. So she's so Cassie Ventura steps in to disrupt Charlie Mack's whole world, right? So she steps in. Now she has a position of power. She has a certain limelight about her. She has things that are going on similar to him. But with him, we know everything that's up front. We know everything that's going on. We know everything that is everything's in the light. And he's very upfront. He's very transparent with basically how trepidatious his love relationships are. Even the first scene that we see him bring somebody who you would think is a potential girlfriend, he's just like, I'm hitting that, and while she's just posting stuff on Snapchat or whatever. Again, this movie is very, very dated very quickly. How quickly do we move on from things right now nowadays? In 1999, you'd be like, man, if it was 2012, everything just feels like yesterday. But with this, everything feels a world away. When we used to use Snapchat, with the iPhone that's there is the iPhone 6. It's really it's a lot. It's really like there's a fat burger. So there's a scene where there's a fat burger, and it's like there are no fat burgers. Like the fat burgers are in, I think they're in gas stations now, as just like a ready to eat, ready to go. You throw it in the microwave. That's crazy. I remember going to a fat burger, and there's like a fat burger off like in Hollywood or off Hollywood Boulevard or Washington or something like that. But it's in the heart of Hollywood. There's a couple key LA landmarks and a couple key like LA-isms that kind of play into the whole Diddy and Cassie situation. But again, we're going to get into that. So Cassie has a proposal. She wants to trip up kind of the life that she's been living. We know all about Charlie Mack's ins and outs, do's and don'ts. He even has very strict rules that he's like, you know my rules. You know my rules. Everybody knows my rules. Don't wear shoes in my house. Don't fall in love or like no commitments, no partners. Let me find the rules again. Don't wear heels in my house. Don't be a friend of my friend because I won't date you, and don't touch my camera. So now, I want to pause right there. Okay, I want to finish the through line that I'm trying to get to with Cassie and kind of her proclivities. We don't know what's going on. We don't know her story. We know that she's looking for fun. We know that she's looking for a friend with benefits. And we also know that she's actually looking to participate in a little bit of experimentalism, a little bit of voyeurism. There's a little bit of a, there's like this extra layer on top of how much she pursues Charlie Mack. Like there's the one of the first scenes that I think that she or not the first scene, but one of the follow-up scenes where she has Charlie Mack meet her. He meets her at a restaurant on Melrose, and they go into the bath. They don't even eat food. First of all, it looked amazing. It looked like they served the best brunch there. That's what I think. I don't know what place it's supposed to be. I've lived in LA, and I have no idea what place it's supposed to be. I tried to figure it out, but that probably would have been a question for 10 years ago, like pre-Colby beef, Colby lockdown. But the first thing they do, she's like, you know what? This is the first time that me and this guy are gonna hook up. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take him into the bathroom, and we're to also to an amazing soundtrack. I don't know if did he produce a soundtrack for this movie. If he did, honestly, I could forgive a few different things. Not the RICO charges or the racketeering, but I could forgive some violent outbursts for the level of wetness on this soundtrack. Anyways, we persist. We move on. So the reason that I bring that up, the reason that I'm talking about that there's like these proclivities that she has, there's these, she's already being somebody who is outside of obviously her own rules. She has rules. She has something set up. She has this like lifestyle that she's really trying hard to push against, almost like this good girl lifestyle, this good girl persona that she's really trying to be outside of, showing up in nothing but lingerie to his home when I believe she's never even been to his home. The first time to his home, she shows up in lingerie, like in like nothing but the lingerie. And I'm not even gonna say the connection to the Diddy trial that's even oh my god, the freak off connections are already connecting, dude. It's so many connections to this film, guys. I don't think you understand, and I wish I was coherent and articulate enough to like make it clear, but I'm all over the place. First thing, they have sex in the bathroom. Next, they have intercourse in his house, and she just shows up in pure lingerie, and he lets her leave his heels on. So she's already stepped into his life, breaking his rules. And I feel that the rules that he has, I feel like the things that he set in place in his life are not only to protect himself, but I think it's to protect others from him, from revealing what he actually is interested in being and doing. Take the photography. Don't touch my camera. He's very particular about his cameras, but he lets Cassie touch his cameras. He lets Cassie touch his cameras. He lets Cassie wear the heels in his house. Now, Cassie isn't a friend of his friends because then, he wouldn't be able to date her. But, I mean, not breaking the rule is kind of part of breaking the rules. It's like she's breaking the rules of him not being exclusive with anybody to the point where he's like, I want this girl around for longer. It's gonna break my heart. And that's where we end up getting to. Where it's like now we've seen 3 separate I guess you could say like meetups or events or freak offs in some languages, and some people would suggest, because they're private, they're intimate, they're voyeuristic, they're like outlandish in nature. He wants to, well, not him, but Cassie wants to meet in potentially dangerous situations, or in situations that require Charlie Mack to be uncomfortable if he were with any other woman. But already this woman is something else. She's something different. She's something that he didn't know he was looking for, but when he found it, he could never let it go. And that's what brings us to the House of Cards, which there's a House of Cards reference. I'm just going to say it. There's 100% a House of Cards reference. Boy, has that also seen its fair share of allegations. There's just a lot of evil mixed into the making of this film. It's very much I don't know. I like this movie. I don't know if I'm allowed to like this movie anymore. It's not even a separating the artist from the artist. It's trying to separate all of the referential material that you have to like excuse away to somebody. It's like, wait, aren't they referencing House of Cards? Doesn't this rule system and the way that she wants to be voyeuristic and the way that she's kind of like leading him out of his comfort zone and kind of developing this tattered relationship that only has one end? Hey, really quick, I understand I didn't use the word voyeuristic, right? All right, there's a reason why I'm a YouTuber and not a successful YouTuber. Okay? I should probably stop saying it. Probably not friendly to the rules online. Anyways, bye. Doesn't this all feel a little bit emotionally manipulated? Or a little bit emotionally manipulative, similar to this Sean Diddy persona that she happened to be seeing at the time, that is also exactly like that? So hold on, I'm gonna get there. I don't know if Cassie Ventura had an executive producer position on this film, or if she was able to contribute to the script at all. And I also gotta check my phone. We've heard about, when it comes to the Diddy trial, there's former assistants and staff, there's former best friends, there's new lovers, and the fact of there's, an individual that Cassie Ventura ended up dating, that she ended up marrying, now has a family with, that she was technically, or in the ways that maybe Diddy sees it, I'm not too sure, is that she was already cheating or being outside of their relationship and their agreement to see this other individual. Now, the reason that's important is for the reasons that I'm about to say right now. So there's these beelines that are throughout the movie where Robbie, where Charlie Mack's two friends have these subplots. One is looking to get married, something that Charlie Mack is vehemently opposed to. He's opposed to marriage. He thinks that love is beautiful, but it's temporary and it's only something to be used as a tool. However, on the other end, there is another couple and friends that are looking to get intimate and have children. They are trying to bring in a child into this world, and they are having struggles with fertility. And both of these friends are facing like a couple of little trials there, arguments, and maybe a little bit of miscommunication between their spouses and themselves, or their partners and themselves. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because they both influence Charlie in different ways. I believe that the one who's looking to get married influences Charlie to think of Cassie in a different light, and to look at her as like, well, if there's somebody that I could communicate with better than my friend who is getting married can communicate with the woman that he says he wants to settle down with, he's like, or like have more of a relation and more of a connection to, it's like, maybe then I was wrong about marriage. There's the train again. There's the gosh darn train again. It comes to the friend who's pursuing to, get fertility treatment, figure out, or even just figure out why they aren't able to have a kid. Charlie Mack actually comes into the rescue for this friend who ends up crashing his house because he pissed off his wife because she's Latina. Dude, I've been there. 100%. I get it. I just sleep in the living room, right? She can't chain the locks on me. I will get in through the window. But I've been there. I understand. And sometimes you need a buddy or somebody, a confidant, or even like a mentor to kind of encourage you to say, it's, hey, like, these things are going to happen. You just got to forgive often and be present and be there for your spouse, for your wife. And Charlie Mack is the one giving him this advice. You would expect it to be the other friend who is in fiancés with his girlfriend and is expecting to be on the same journey of starting a family and doing all that. But it was Charlie Mack who ended up saying something positive about love and feeling that his life is changing at such a rapid pace, right? Almost like love bombing, almost like feeling like you can't exist outside of that relationship or that railway and that causeway that you're heading down into heartbreak, but that he doesn't know. We're seeing a lot of changes happen in such a short amount of time because Cassie Ventura has fully disrupted Charlie Mack's trajectory. She's fully disrupted his opinions, even on himself. He was fully content to stay at his job that he didn't really care for, that he wasn't impassioned about. He was just good at it. But just because you're good at it, like I'm good at sales, but I don't want to be doing sales. Like, I mean, everything's sales, but I'd rather be doing this. I'd rather be talking to you guys. I'd rather be making this content, slinging this content left, right, and center. But I can do sales, and right now I do a sales job because that's the way that I'm able to provide. And the way that Charlie Mack is able to provide is like, I've always kind of done this. I've always been slick and able to sell and able to convince people, not outside of their best interest, but to convince them that what I am interested in for them is their best interest, like artists and performers and whoever else. Or French Montana in this case, French Montana and his monkey. So now Charlie Mack is fully disrupted and now showing signs to everyone who cares about him, his whole support system, right? All these people that surround him with love and affection and kindness who only want what's best for him. He's showing them that he's now receiving a whole different wavelength when it comes to love. Now here comes the masterpiece, the beauty behind it all, finally the unveiling, the shock and awe, the reveal that Cassie Ventura in a wedding boutique, when they're trying on their tuxedos for Charlie Mack's friend's birthday, they find out that Cassie Ventura is engaged. She is engaged to be married to somebody that she met a long time ago in her past, has been on and off, or there's kind of a hint of that there's been on and off dating, on and off just kind of a situationship, that they just, well, we love each other, but we've just never gone that far of that commitment, just made you mine and I'm yours style to whatever it is that her history is with this man. But she's fully in a wedding dress when Charlie Mack sees her, when Terrence J's character sees her, and his whole worldview becomes shattered, becomes broken. not because he's heartbroken that she's possibly with somebody else or that he is the other man. He is completely torn from top to bottom, realizing that he thought that a future was possible for him with love, and it turns out that the only thing that he ever thought that he could fully have as a relationship was already in, and I'm not saying this to be disgusting, but it was already in somebody else's possession. At least, like, and I'm not saying possession in that way. I'm just saying, forget you. If you think that, you're an idiot. But it was already in somebody else's household, right? Like somebody already had her heart, already had her love, and is fully going through with marrying him, to the point where when Charlie Mack crashes out on his whole support system, they're trying to celebrate his birthday, he just fully freaks out and fully freaks off on all his friends and kicks them out of his house. And now reiterating, which I think is super key and super important, he's just like, you guys know my rules. Everyone's in my house. Your shoes are on. You guys are disrespecting my property. You set up decorations and all this crap that I didn't want. Get out of my house. Like when Diddy threw that frying pan at Cassie or whatever. Now for me, looking at this now, looking at what we've heard about and what we found out about when it comes to the Diddy trial, this just makes, I'm just like, this is a premonition. This whole time I had all the details in front of me. It was a premonition away, having all these details in this movie. So now Charlie Mack is distraught. He's dysfunctional. He's drinking heavily. He's indulging in substances and doing these different things. And now Cassie obviously finds out, or not finds out, but he hasn't been responding to her phone calls, hasn't been responding to her texts. What does that sound like? It hasn't been responding to her attempts to reach out to him. And so she goes to his home, and because she, last time she was there, she was, all freaked out, ready to go. The only thing we didn't see was baby oil, but I guess. And she shows up trying to console him and trying to just, and if I'm being honest, being very transparent, being very clear, and honestly being a really clear and present communicator. But obviously she's, or not obviously, but she was communicating to somebody who was intoxicated. So it's kind of hard to, give her that reward or that pat on the back when she was talking to somebody who didn't even have the mental faculties to receive the information she was giving. However, she needs to monologue. Monologue's got a monologue. So Cassie goes into the longest string of words she's had the entire film. And she explains to him that this is somebody from her past, and it's somebody who's always going to be in her future. So the only logical thing would be for them to get married. Not because she doesn't want to get married to him, or not because she doesn't think that she will experience a good and healthy life with him, but because that's just always what she's done. She's always done the right thing by this person, this unnamed individual. She's always just seen to this person's needs. She's always been the girl, the high school sweetheart, or whatever it is that they started dating and getting familiar with each other with this other individual. She's always just done the right thing in a relationship. She said earlier in the movie, she's never been in a short-term relationship. She's only been in a long-term relationship. And in the way that she describes it, she's only been in this long-term relationship. Who does that sound like? The person who's playing her, probably. And who does this mystery man sound like? I'm just going to be making leaps, okay? For the rest of this video, I'm just going to be making incoherent leaps for the rest of the time because it's fun, and I just thought of this movie as soon as I started hearing these testimonies from these people, these friends, these family members, from everybody who's involved in the trial. I don't know. I've been wanting to make this. I didn't want to make it at the start of the trial, the hype of the trial. I wanted to make it when there was a little bit less friction between the information that's going out and the facts, or even just the amount of hype behind it. I don't really like doing things on top of hype. I like to kind of formulate my thoughts and then do it when I'm ready to do it. Like I'll probably have a Kanye video about whatever happened with his World War III album and what he's doing now, probably a month from now, because I just really want to formulate my thoughts and opinions, and I kind of just don't want to speak out of turn about it. I don't want to have an opinion based on what's scrolling through on my TikTok. When it comes to things that are at this point in time, right now, that are happening in the world, I feel like everybody's going to have a different perspective in a few months. It's similar to when we finally get a verdict on the Diddy case. We're going to have a different perspective from that moment going forward. Even if you hate him, even if you love him, even if you're on the family side, even if you're on Cassie's side, even if you're on the federal government side, once the verdict is passed, you're going to feel a little bit differently. Or you're going to have information that wasn't presently available before, like the verdict on whether he is found guilty or not. Now, this part is very, very, very interesting, especially because Cassie Ventura claimed to be somebody who was in love with Diddy, that was fully invested in a relationship with him for a number of years. Now, Cassie says something in her monologue that really stands out to me, because I feel like we always tell on ourselves. I feel like whether it comes out before or during or later, the truth always gets revealed, whether it's through one medium or another, whether it's through writing or through a film or through a video or through just a passing comment to a friend or to somebody else. That we always tell on ourselves. As humans, we're really bad at keeping secrets. We're always telling on ourselves. And I feel that Cassie really told on herself in this moment, where she says, Charlie, we had a connection. What we had wasn't love. What we did was easy, because love is hard. Oh, and boy, is it hard. Boy, was it plenty hard. And sometimes it wasn't hard, according to some of the male escorts that were brought in. I think that the roles kind of reverse here when I'm saying that there's referential material in here related to Cassie's own relationship with Sean Diddy Combs and the experiences that she ended up having that eventually led her to the family that she has now. Is that kind of reverse. What Diddy and Cassie had, it wasn't love. It was a connection. It was a connection through his connections. It was a connection through a lifetime, it feels like, for her, because she was so young when they started seeing each other, that almost for her, and for pretty much a third of her life before she became, a little bit older, that he was the only connection she had. She was the only branch to LA and Hollywood and success and money and music that she could connect to. She was the only plug-in that she had. Aside from that, she had no power source. Right now, eventually she gains her own power and her own ability to make a living for herself, and similar to testimonies that were brought up during the trial, that she was very successful when it came to modeling. When she committed herself to modeling, she was very successful. She could make a lot of money. However, that's not something that you could operate in if your whole life is invested in a relationship that you are not even the main person in. Charlie Mack's work suffers when he's fully invested in a love relationship that the love is only going one way, or the connection's only going one way. He was unable to operate and fulfill his role the way that he needed to do when he was with Cassie Ventura, or at least when the blow up happened, he wasn't able to basically perform, to the point where he's like, you know what, I'm done. I want to do what I want to do, whether it's advice from Cassie or not, because she was advising me to go after my dreams, become that photographer. I'm doing it kind of out of spite, because it's like, along with being fed up with thinking that love is real, I'm now fed up with this job and being a fake and a phony everywhere else, which is, I feel, where Cassie Ventura eventually got to. She eventually got to being fed up because she wasn't Cassie Ventura in The Perfect Match. She was not Kim Porter. If Diddy said anything, he said that Kim Porter was his soulmate. Kim Porter was the main thing, the girl that would always be the girl. She was the girl that was... Stop. She was the girl who was always the it girl for him. Cassie could never be that. What they had was a connection. It wasn't love. It was fun. And it was fun for a little while. But then it stopped being that way very quickly. And it started being a job. It started being a world that she never imagined herself being in. It was disruptive. It was something unholy, unmatrimonious, right? But what he had with Kim Porter was pure relationship, almost to marriage. She had children with Sean Diddy Combs that Cassie never had the ability to have. That even if in the event that she would possibly become pregnant, she would not be able to have those kids, because I'm almost fairly certain, not saying this is true, but Sean Diddy Combs would probably not allow her to have children, because she is not the main thing. She's not the main squeeze. I think we see a parallel that's leaking out and bleeding out in the beginning with Charlie Mack as his perfect bachelor self, right? Can't be tied down, can't be held down by any one girl. Like, you know how I am with women. Like, there's some of the precepts that he's setting in the film. He's like, you know how I am. You know how I am with these girls. You know how I run around. But now we've flip the script to where he is now wanting to be this person, whoever this fictionalized person is. He wants to be the person who's able to be Cassie Ventura's number one, right? So I don't know. I mean, I guess you could make this connection with any film, but she happens to be in this one. So I just really feel that I don't know, there's some life, art imitates life imitates art. I feel that this is not going to be lost on some people, and on everybody else it will be, because no one's seen this movie. And I'm not saying, and Cassie, I'm not saying that nobody's seen this movie. I've seen this movie a dozen times. It's on my Apple TV. I bought the movie. I bought the movie on iTunes. But, back when you probably can't now. It's probably just like struck from all the records now, because it's all related and tainted and gross. But I like this movie. I really do. I enjoyed it, and I think that some of the joy is a little bit gone, because I'm like okay, because now I'm like hyper fixating. I'm just like, okay, Cassie, like, you're being real voyeuristic. Like, you're being real. You're being real experimental really fast. Who does that sound like? Getting really experimental really fast, having Cassie be the kind of like the hit maker when it comes to the freak offs and all those things. I just think that it's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit on the nose. I think that it kind of makes a little bit of a handshake. It's a little hand over fisted to kind of reality, right? And I feel that art's always that way. And I feel that there's somebody with a little bit more articulation and a lot more intelligence could make a way better connection to this film, between Cassie Ventura and Diddy Sean Combs' relationship, and even the relationship between Cassie Ventura and her now husband, right? Because this guy here, Charlie Mack, is basically, what's his name? Eric Ferguson, or what's his name? Not it's like literally the Alex Fine. I knew it was something Jewish. I was like, what's his name? So Alex Feinstein. I feel like Charlie Mack is Alex Fine. Like, Charlie Mack was in a very not erotic career, but he wasn't something that was like had some kind of like, not a claim, but it had like power. It had like ability, function. There was something a little bit sexy about it, right? Like, oh well, I'm not making the art, but I make the people who make the art make more art. Like, I help them create, and I help them become creative, or I help them continue to be creative, which we see in the film. We see that Charlie Mack is a rainmaker when it comes to his talent. He basically frees up the talent. Like, the talent has constraints. Artists or actors have constraints, and he's able to liberate them of those constraints so they can continue to make art, right? And then Alex Fine, I believe, was Cassie's personal pasta strainer. He was her personal. It's so late. I have to be asleep already. I have work so early tomorrow. So Alex Fine was Cassie's personal trainer, right? There's a little bit of, a little bit sexy. Like, you're breaking down some barriers there, right? Like, there's, and he has power. He has power to make or break Cassie's, fitness journey, or her body, which her body for a long time was her currency. Her body for a little while was the only thing that, almost permitted her to continue to be in Diddy's orbit in some ways. And I'm not saying that because I'm judging her body. I'm saying that because Diddy's gross and he's a pig, and that's probably how he thought. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, what else would he get? Did he have ugly girls around? I don't think so. But Alex Fine had that little bit of power, that little bit of sexiness, and then they started engaging in a relationship. And now, instead of the movie ending with Alex Fine being tossed to the side and Cassie becoming the person that she became in The Perfect Match, becoming the perfect bride and the perfect match to the person that she's been waiting for years upon years for that person to basically decide that they can now be in this covenant of marriage together, or in this covenant of committed relationship, right? Like, there's multiple text messages that are shown on trial of Cassie wanting to be wanted to be the wife to that husband of Sean Diddy Combs, and whether you want to say that she felt like she had to say that because that's what he wanted to hear, it doesn't matter. She said it. Like, or not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter if it was genuine or not. The fact was that was the sentiment that she was trying to portray, and that was the sentiment that was real in the movie. Was that she's like, well, I can't be with you because I've been waiting for so long to be the main thing of this other person who's off screen, right? But in reality, in real life, so that's the fantasy, right? So she's living out her fantasies in the perfect match, because to her, that is Sean was the perfect match, whether it was through, but what she didn't understand, that she told on herself in this movie, that all she had with him was a connection, right? The reason she ended up with Alex Fine is because she found love. She had a connection to Diddy, and it's completely flipped in the perfect match. Like, whether you want to say it's a reflection of her experience, or you want to say that it was a cry for help, trying to show somebody that this is what the life that I'm going after, and I'm on a dangerous path with a dangerous individual. Not that it really shows anyone to be dangerous in here, other than maybe French Montana having like 3 Lamborghinis for no reason. That's dangerous. You're just trailing down Melrose in 3 Lamborghinis. It's just ridiculous. Somebody's going to get stopped at a light, or someone's going to be in a light, and there's going to be 2 Lamborghinis just pulled over with their lights on, just waiting for the third guy to get the green off of, like Melrose and freaking Sepulveda. I don't know. I don't remember the cross streets. Anyways, if you like this really stupid video I recorded for way too long, that I said way too much about. I said so anyways probably like 14 times. Somebody put a counter in the comments or something. But anyways, if you like more breakdowns like this or more commentary, I'm going to continue to do it. Go check out my Sophie Rain video about her wanting to get into heaven after making $43 million popping her stuff on places that stuff goes on. Or if you just, if you don't like it here, just say so. Just put it in the comments. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one.